Welcome, everyone. My name is Bhuva Narayan, and I'm an associate professor at the School of Communication at UTS, and I'm a member of ALIA Multicultural. Thank you, Mari, for inviting me to moderate this session. I'd like to begin by an acknowledgement to country. I pay my respects to the Wangal people of the Eora Nation by the Parramatta River, where I live and work from, who are the traditional custodians of the land, the waters, and the sky, from where I'm joining you today. I would also like to add that Aboriginal sovereignty has never been ceded. I would like to pay my respects to the elders past and present and acknowledge all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders here today and pay my respects to your elders past and present. As a woman who was born in post-colonial nation of India and who has lived in mostly still colonial United States for most of my life, I feel extremely privileged to be here and to be with you all today. If you would like to acknowledge the place from which you're joining us today, please put that in the chat. And our objective today is to support staff development by focusing on resources available to assist multicultural communities by providing health information in their own languages. We're also here today to talk about how to raise awareness within the communities you serve, of the resources you have in your collection or the potential you have to gather resources. We'll provide you with some skills to find the information and to share the knowledge with your colleagues. This webinar will be recorded, and you may share it with your colleagues or perhaps use it as part of a presentation yourself. We'll talk about simple methods on how to raise awareness without verbal communication by making resources visible. And this can take a form of health display every few months, a display in front of the library of books, videos, magazines on health topics, or crafts, hobbies, videos that are related that may contribute to overcome isolation for those who need it. So let's get started today. We have two speakers, and thank you both for coming here today and sharing your experience and knowledge with us. Our first speaker is Gayatri Dharmagasan. Gaia is a senior project officer and has served, she's a senior project officer in the New South Wales Multicultural Health Communication Services and has over 25 years of project management expertise in Australia and abroad. Gaia has a wealth of experience of working with multicultural and refugee communities, both within health and in the community sector, and has exceptional skills in co-design of health information with communities. She has been a part of numerous projects, including those focused on COVID-19, women's health, domestic violence, and cancer screening. So thank you and welcome, Gaia. I'll also introduce Kay now so that we can start the presentations. Our second speaker today will be Kay Peisel, Library Customer Service Team Leader at Home Library Services. Kay has experience in and in the city of Newcastle and the Creative and Community Services. So she has experience in public library management and in working as a teacher librarian in the education sector. In her current role as a Home Library Service Team Leader at Newcastle Regional Libraries, Kay's focus is on developing a library service that meaningfully engages with older members of the community. An interest in reducing social isolation for seniors led Kay to complete training with the Wiking Dementia Research and Education Center to create the Memory Room Project, a social engagement program for people living with dementia. She's passionate about creating opportunities for people living with dementia to actively engage with their community and hopes to encourage public libraries to create and run their own dementia programs. Welcome, Kay. So how we'll do this is we'll have Gaia present first for 15 to 20 minutes, and then Kay, and then we'll open it up for questions from the audience. But in the meanwhile, as you're listening, if you have a question or a comment, please put it into the chat and I will monitor that and bring it up later during the discussion. So thank you. Thanks, Gaia. Take it away.
Thank you. Thank you all for your participation today, this meeting. And I'm really excited to share my experience with the multicultural communities and as an multicultural health communication service. We are a specialized organization providing support to communities. So our organization has been providing support from 1997 in New South Wales. It's a state body and it's a health organization. It's funded by New South Wales Health and administered by the Southeastern Sydney Local Health District. So as you're aware that our state has been divided into districts to provide support to the communities. So I'm going to, I thought it would be nice to share our website and take you through the website. So that would give you a lot of information, what we do and what information it's available in the website. And also if any questions that if you're interested in, and then I'm happy to sort of provide that support as well at this point. So I'm going to share the website and take you all through that, that website. Just bear with me to share my screen. So can everyone see the website?
Yeah.
So as I mentioned that so it's a government body, Multicultural Health Communication Service. It's funded by New South Wales Ministry of Health, and we very closely work with the New South Wales Ministry of Health teams. So about us. So you can see that we are a statewide service hosted by Southeastern Sydney Local Health District. It's been established in 1997, and we work together with multicultural communities and culturally and linguistically diverse communities. So what we do. So provide a value-added translation service for the health communication. We have a team working on translations project. And then we manage this website. We have a lot of multilingual health information database, and it is divided into two for health professional and for the communities. And we also provide consultancy services to health services and programs, which include data support, and also we provide a lot of health literacy and co-design support for producing resources. And we also coordinate a award for the multicultural projects and the initiatives, and also there's two more particular awards that recognize the work that is being done by the multicultural health staff and volunteers in the state, which is related to New South Wales Health. And we develop and deliver in partnership with health services and community organization, health information and campaign. And we support partner services and organization to develop and deliver health campaign. We do provide small grants in support of those initiatives. And we also have our own platform, use social and digital media to promote our campaigns and events and other campaigns and events happening in New South Wales, which is health related. So if you go to our publication page, we have this variety of pages, which you can browse by language, browse by topic, or it's particular pages related to refugee health. And we do have glossaries that translated related to health terminologies. And this is quite interesting work that we've done in the last couple of years. Is this appointment tool, which has been initially developed by the New South Wales Refugee Health Service, but we do have that in our website, that in different, I think in 63 languages, for health professionals to provide appropriate information for their patients to attend the appointment. You can later go and browse this and see just provide that information to your district or the states that you're working in, to if it's not been promoted, or if you haven't seen this, please feel free to look into that, and then please feel free to promote that. I'm just going to go into our projects. One of the projects that we work together with the refugee communities, and the resources that we produce related to that, all sitting in this page. And it's in 21 languages. So just to show you one of the language that how you can sort of look into this. So it goes by health topics. When you click that particular topic, we map all the resources available for the communities in that. It's what we do to achieve this kind of work, or kind of to produce this kind of page or work, resources, that we do environmental scan. So we sort of, as a team, we analyze all the resources available in New South Wales Health, and we map all those resources into our. So it's very rich, thorough information here, and also it's very relevant and current, and we do often review our websites and update that website. We have a particular team working on this, and our system manager leads this project. And please feel free to get in touch with Rajan Manikraj. I'll add his contact details in the chat. He'll be able to help you in any way that you would like to put up your resources here, or if you would like to get more information on this website. So not only the resources that we do, we also have a lot of campaign projects, and a lot of other support we provide. And I'm going to go into the campaigns and projects. So you can see two different projects here. It's current campaigns and projects, and you can also look into previous project we have done. Yeah, so these are the current project running at our team. I'm going to go into this project. So this project has been funded by Ministry of Health, And it's also, it's a statewide project. It's particularly looking into translated health information for the refugee communities. It's been running in the last 2 years. If you would like to know more about this project, our project officer Sylvia Ginoni, you can find her contact details and you can be in touch with her. As it's picked this project to provide you a bit more information, as because we produced a best practice guide for New South Wales health staff, which is accessible. You can access here as well. We have produced this for New South Wales health staff, but it's accessible by everyone. And it's a very useful tool when you're producing the resources that I'm going to go into, give you a bit of a detail. It's in printable version. You can print it out or you can use it as online. So, you know, when you're producing resources, how do you produce resources for the multicultural communities? It includes every information possible, like from planning stage to the distribution of the resource. So this is very, very useful. I would advise everyone to go and have a look in detail of this particular booklet. I'll run through a bit on this part. It does say why that's important and what you should plan. How do you identify the health information needs? And it has been written particularly focusing on the health information needs, but this is applicable to any issues in the state. It's education or it's employment or any other related issues that you can use this guide as you produce your resources. So identifying the resource type, what kind of resource you need to produce for the particular community. The example languages that either do not have a written form or generally have low literacy, which we have identified as well. So it's very useful guide that you have. And also audio, why do you produce audio resources? How do you produce that audio resources? And how do you produce the social media tiles? And what would you do when you produce video resources? And why would you write written resources? And what you should consider. And also principles underpinning the development of health information. So what you can do, what you cannot do in this health literacy space as well. So I saw Michael Kamid on the, he's sitting in a meeting, who he worked with us. He's specialized in health literacy as well. So I like to acknowledge his work here as well. He was part of our team in the past, and now he's working in the Southeastern Sydney. So he's just reach out to him as well in this space. He's very specialized in that area. And, you know, we put, how do you do co-design and how do you focus test? And how would you develop different resources? Why do you have to choose audio resources? Why you shouldn't be choosing the video in particular kind of work? All those things have been listed. And then the production phase is very important that we do use NAATI accredited, you know, professional to translate our resources and also, you know, post-production. So testing those resources with the communities and, you know, get their feedback and how do we do digital distribution. Nowadays, everything goes on digital. So, Also, we included special consideration for translating information about medication. That's one of the things that we do as a health organization regularly get from people. Or it's very important to, you know, translate those information, but it's very complicated. We do advise seek endorsement to translate from a medical safety governance team when you're translating those, sensitive information. So it's very important to work with the clinician. So the co-design, when you're producing resources, is very important to, sort of consider that co-design concept in your projects, and very important to work with the everyone, clinicians, specialized communication teams, the communities who are working, who you are producing the work, the resources, then get their feedback, involve them from the starting on, while you're writing the English version or while you're writing the language version. So those things been considered in this booklet as well. So I'm actually going to stop from here, and we do a lot of work, and our website does provide all the information. I'm happy for you all to be in touch with me if you need more information or more support. And also Michael would be able to provide a lot of information related to health literacy, and they work in southwestern Sydney. And our team members, every project has our team members' contact details. Please feel free to get in touch with them as well. And yeah, if any questions that I thought it would be nice to listen to you all as well, and hear from your thoughts and just answer your questions. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you so much, Gaia. And wonderful resource, really, for me. It was quite informative, because I remember 3 years ago wanting to look for COVID information in Tamil, and I looked through the library resources and I could not actually find anything, but I didn't look through the website you are showing us now. So I think there is a need for, I think libraries and health services to be working together to update resources continually, because I was definitely not able to find some resources that I wanted to share with my family who are Tamil, which I could not find earlier. So I think I'll open up the floor now for questions around this presentation, and then have Kay present. And then again, we'll open up the floor for both of you later on. I think that might be better. Dulce, can you, yes.
Thank you, everyone. And thank you for the opportunity. Thank you, Gaia, for your presentation. My question is related with visual aid or with videos. Here at Red Cross, we do deliver Health in My Language program, and our partner is the Multicultural Center for Women's Health. We have a big population of Afghani communities and Kirundis and Swahili, and they don't read in their first language. We find a very handy visual aid and videos, and I would like to know if in your website could I find videos or visual aid that will assist us to continue delivering health sessions in their first language. Thank you.
Yes, that's one of the recommendations that we provided on the resource, that best practice guide. So some of the languages we don't have, the letters, or the health literacy is very low. So we highly recommend producing radio, audio messages or video messages or visual aid. And we do highly recommend use, pictorial related, sort of very simple sort of resource that might be helpful for the particular communities. I highly recommend that when you work with particular community, please consult them they will inform you what kind of resource is suitable for them. So we usually do that with the communities. We do, consult the community a lot to find out what they want actually. And you can, as for your question, you can find resources in our website that that has video messages. I wouldn't say that we do have for every particular issue. We are a health organization, and also particular health. We don't have any health issues addressed at this point. We try our best, and yes, you can find a video that might help you, or audio messages. Just an example of the video that we might have. When the COVID pandemic hit us, we had the videos that go out in 63 languages. So that I was the talent on one of the videos that was demonstrating the rat, using the rat. So it was produced in 63 language, which I was demonstrating. Unfortunately, I don't speak 63 languages, which I would love. But I do speak 2 languages, Tamil and Sinhalese, so which I voiced over as well. So we try our best to provide that information in video, audio messages.
Thank you, Gaia. Dulce, you happy with that answer? Yeah, thank you. Any other comments or questions for Gaia?
Please, please reach out to me if you have, you want to know something. All of our team members are very small team, but all of our team members are bilingual, and also they specialize in particular areas, so they will be able to provide more support.
Thank you, Gaia. Thank you for the shout out to Michael, who's here today too. Michael is one of our graduates from UTS. He's Dr. Michael Kamet now, and his PhD was on this topic. So you might want to look that up later. Any other comments or questions? Otherwise, we can move on to Kay's presentation. Thank you, Kay.
Yeah,
Take it away.
thank you. Yeah, and thank you for having me today. I'm going to be talking about, very program focused for the next 15 minutes. Just a bit of background. Yes, I, through a scholarship that I earned through the New South Wales Public Library Association, we developed a program for people living with dementia in our Newcastle community. Over 400,000 people live with dementia in Australia. And most of those people, the vast majority of those people, live in the community. They're not in aged care or any kind of care facility. And we found that there's a real gap in the community for social engagement activities for people who are living with dementia. They want to be part of their community. They still want to be actively engaged, but because of the stigma in the community, that's very difficult. And I think that's probably even further exacerbated when there is a language barrier as well. So today I'm going to talk about the program that we've created. And while the program we run is in English, I guess the takeaway I would like everyone to have is that this program is very adaptable, and that I would love to see other organisations and other people stepping up and running their own programs in the community. You will notice that we've been very fortunate in that we actually have some, professional therapists who assist in our program, but I actually think that this program can be ran at a very grassroots level. So I'll start with a PowerPoint, and I'm more than happy to take any questions at the end. So let me know if you can see my screen when I share it.
Yes, we can see it, Kay. Thank you.
All good? There we go. Great. Right, I was going to show a little video about dementia, but I might leave that to the end. We'll just see how our time goes today. I'll jump out of that one. So the Memory Room is a fortnightly program. We run 2 sessions a fortnight. I have an activity therapist or an art therapist and a music therapist. The art therapist comes to every session. The music therapist comes to every second session. It goes for an hour and a half, and it is quite a small program. We have, I'll get up a couple of pictures so that you can see. So we limit it to about 12 people. 6 of those people will be living with dementia, and we have a family member or a support worker and a carer attend with them. And occasionally we do have people who are living in the community with dementia who attend our programs as well. Most of the people in our programs have varying levels of communication, but the whole aim of the program is about connection with community. It's about using stimulus from treasured objects, from items in our libraries, to things that are happening in the community, to bring back memory and to connect people with those memories. And to do that, I've engaged an art therapist, as you can see in this first image. That's Alice, and she's running a program here in one of our libraries. And through grant funding through the New South Wales Department of Justice and Community Services, we also have funding this year, and that's where I've been able to double the number of sessions and introduce music therapy. So I'll go through and just talk about some of the different sessions we run so you get a feel for the program. And and keep any questions and I'll answer them at the end. So the first slides were in our libraries. We also go out into the community. So these images were taken from the Newcastle Art Gallery, where we attended called the War exhibit, which is Torres Strait Islander. And we were looking at this woven sculpture made out of abandoned fishnets. And, so we talked all about the sculpture, lots of questions to elicit conversation. And we have an art activity with every session, or nearly every session. Sometimes the conversations are so great we don't get to it. But in this activity, you can see we did a weaving activity. And that's some of the pieces of weaving that our group did. We've also been to the beach with our group. I love these images because Margaret in this photo has a disability and she is on a walker, and she was so excited to be able to feel the water, and she actually hadn't been on the sand or the beach for a number of years. So we got a tray and we filled it with sand and beach water so she could put her feet in the sand. But what's interesting about this image is that Margaret it's her husband who has dementia. And so she's the carer. And so she has a husband with a disability as well as herself. And so, you touch many lives and many hearts when you run this program. This is an image that we held in our local museum. There was a travelling exhibit from the National War Museum. It was called Ink in the Lines, and it was about military tattoos or veterans who get tattoos for a number of reasons, but often to commemorate, people who they've fought with. And so we did a whole session on tattoos. And the gentleman, Kevin, in the photo is a Vietnam vet who has a number of tattoos, and he was having a conversation with our group about why they were important to him, and told many stories about his time in Vietnam. The woman next to him is actually my boss, and she has 16 tattoos herself. And so it was really a fascinating conversation about why tattoos are popular in today's culture. and you know, and very relevant, even though nearly everyone in the group is elderly. So it was a fascinating discussion. We always do art activity. This one just shows some small pieces of artwork that they were creating. The Great Unwind was about what do we do to unwind, what do we do to be to create calm in our lives. So there's one of the activities that they were doing. We also do on the right-hand side there of the screen is a larger board, which is we call it a mood board, and people can just add to that every session and draw whatever they want. And we provide a mood board at nearly every session. And we've also been not out at sea, but definitely on a boat next to the dock and had a discussion. This was a historic vessel. So the memory room has gone to lots of places, though most of them we hold in the library. This one I'll talk a little bit about more later, but the cold snap was about kind of one talking about winter, what we do in the cold, memories of the cold, places that we may have lived or experienced it. And the picture just shows you one of the art activities, which was really fabulous, that we did with food dye, ice cubes, and watercolour paper. We do lots of music making in our sessions, and our music making always relates to the theme of the session. And as you notice, every session has a different theme. Themes often relate to what's happening in the community at the time, or it might relate to, you know, an exhibit that's come to town, the weather, all sorts of things. During COVID, a lot of the images that we use, so we use images from our local studies collection as stimulus for conversation. And during COVID, well, the program began right at the beginning of COVID, so we actually had to start online. So we put a lot of our images online. So I'll just share a few of those images with you. Clearly, a lot of the images are local, because this program is local to Newcastle, but it just gives you an idea of the kind of things that you can share with your different communities. So, you know, playing in the park, we ran a session on playgrounds, swings and roundabouts. You know, the local libraries. We've also done a session. We had a exhibit called the Soft Library. So we looked at images and we looked at favourite books and how people spent their time in libraries when they were young. Fishing. Just a few other images taken. You notice that on each slide or image, at the bottom of them, there's a small narrative, tells you about the image, and also gives you questions for stimulus. So these images can be downloaded, printed off, so people can use them at home. And we're also creating, you know, sets of images that can be borrowed from the library and people can take with them. So we have, yes, several images that are used. I just wanted to, at the moment, and part of the grant that we have, Alice, who's our art therapist, and I have been creating a toolkit for the memory room. And it consists of about 30 different theme sessions. And what the aim is to create a book or a booklet that will, that anyone can use, that has a whole list of theme sessions in it and guidelines on how to run the sessions yourself. So it begins with saying why we do the program, how you set up a session. And this is just an example of one of the themes. So the cold snap, you can see we go through, we set the scene, we have an introductory activity. There's conversations and starters and questions that that Alice will ask to get people thinking about the topic. I always send out an invitation about a week before to ask people maybe to bring an object that relates to the theme, think about the theme. And even for some people, I call them the morning of it because they may forget to come. And so that's just part of what we need to do in this program. You can also see here that there are, in this session, we watched a small video of travelling through a cold Norwegian winter. Everyone had wore their beanies and drank hot chocolate. We watched the video, which was no music, it just, you could hear the car on the snow. And then we had a conversation about what it's like to be cold. And then you saw the images of the art therapy session that we did connected to the theme. There's also a different activity on this particular session, and then all the materials are listed. So currently we've got about 25 to 30 different ones set up, and those booklets are going to be available by the end of the year. We're not quite finished it, but if anyone is interested in getting one of these books to assist in setting up a program, you know, yeah, please contact me. My details will be at the end of the program. One thing that I would like to stress is that people living with dementia, or even not living with dementia, who are elderly, often revert to their first language, particularly when they have dementia. And so this program is clearly would be most beneficial when the person who is running the program is speaking in the language of the participants. And I think there's so much benefit and engagement when first language is used to develop, to create these programs. You know, clearly the things we've used, some of them are general, like the weather, the seasons, family celebrations. Those ones are quite general, but others are specific to our region. But I can imagine there's just a world of ideas and themes that could be used across all the different multicultural groups that we have in Australia. And I think there's such a great opportunity. And even though that I've been fortunate to have paid therapists, I actually think this can be run by anyone who's passionate and keen to see social engagement happening within our communities. I just thought I'd throw a little bit in before we finish the slides. We also in our libraries offer a number of programs. We call this the Memory Room Project because it's multifaceted. And another part of this program is we have memory kits. And that's a kit that can be borrowed from the library. They're free and they're made for people living with dementia, but there's books and CDs. We have games and different activities related to a theme. You can see here in the image, it's birds. And these have been really popular for families to borrow and take them home and do some of the activities with their loved ones. There's another example of one in the garden. It has a magnetic puzzle. I think there's a jigsaw puzzle. There's books about gardening, videos about gardening. You know, so we try and relate the themes to things that people would enjoy. And we have 12 kits, current kits at the moment. Yeah, I'll unshare my screen and then I'm more than happy to take any questions.
Thank you so much, Kay. That is so fascinating and very personal for me. I have dementia running in my family. Oh goodness, it's I'll reach out to you later about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I just, you know, most people are touched by dementia, and with our aging population, it's only going to increase.
Yeah.
So I think it's really important that we can offer services in our community, because most people live in the community, and there's quite a stigma in the community about dementia. And so I'm trying to, you know, erase that and still provide great services. But I think there's, you know, to be able to extend this into the multicultural sector would be fabulous. Thank
you so much. Are there any questions? I'm just looking at the chat to see if there are any questions now. So how do you find the people that are then part of the program? Do you have some kind of outreach or, to identify them, to include them, or do they come to you on their own through some kind of word of mouth?
Yeah, I have a really fabulous relationship with Dementia Australia. So Dementia Australia have a local office in Newcastle.
Yeah.
For the Hunter region, and so I work quite closely with them. They will connect a number of their clients to us, and it's also promoted on our website, and we have flyers. I have flyers that I can put in, geriatricians' offices, and then when I do receive an email or a phone call, it's occasionally the person who is living with dementia will contact me directly, but it's usually a family member who will contact me. And so we have a conversation about, what they hope to achieve from it, kind of where the person is along their dementia journey to see whether the program is suitable. And then we just give it a go. Usually, and see how it goes. And we've had, most of our participants have been in the program for quite a while and are regular attendees. But the program's very flexible because with dementia, some days you can wake up and that day is just not going to work, or there's doctor's appointments, or there's a whole range of reasons. So we're very flexible about how we run the program. We have lost some people because of the nature of the illness. And so, it's a real cycle of life journey, this program, but it's a very joyful program, and we laugh a lot.
That's wonderful. I think we have some questions.
We
Mari,
have a couple of questions in chat, and I think Dulcie also had her hand up before, and I also have a question, but I'll go through the ones in chat first. How did you promote your program? We tried this is from Cherie Cords. We tried something similar at our library, but found it difficult to get people along. There was an awkwardness in talking to customers.
So right at the initial stages of this program, I reached out to dementia-friendly communities, which is a part of Dementia Australia. They offer free online training. And so you can do that as an individual or you can do it as an organisation. And what it is, it's just a short series of videos. And I was going to show one, but I thought, we'll probably run out of time. And so I was fortunate enough to, as part of one of our training sessions with our library team, trained everyone across the library on what it means to be dementia friendly. The videos are quite short. I think there's like 3-minute or 5-minute videos. And they're just people who are living with dementia and what their experience is like to live with dementia, what it's like to be in the community with dementia and how people interact, and what they would like for people, how they would like people to react when they're visiting the library or going to a service. And so all at the time, which was in 2000 or 2020, we had a high level of all the staff across Newcastle libraries trained in being dementia friendly. And in most libraries are very customer service focused and are really good with interaction. So it wasn't a big leap at all. But we've obviously had some staff turnover, and I probably need to jump back on that and get a few more people trained up again. But so if you go to Dementia Friendly Communities, it's a great website, and it will lead you through it.
So I've posted a link to Dementia Australia Video Library in the chat for people to access. So the other question from chat was, did you have a particular background with dementia support prior to developing this program?
No, I've always been interested in health education, health promotion. But my background, I was working as the coordinator of the home library service in Newcastle. And in Newcastle, we have over 200 people on the home library service. Half live in their homes but are isolated and cannot make it to the library, but still want to use our services, and half are in aged care. And we saw that a number of our customers were moving from their home into aged care, and a number of them were having dementia. At the same time, you know, my mum was going through dementia. They cut a program in Newcastle that was a social program and had lost funding at the time. There was a community who was running a program, and that stopped. So I felt like things aligned. And so I then went and did the training. There's dementia training through the Wicking Institute at the University of Tasmania. It's free and it's excellent. So it's, you know, it's set up like a TAFE course in modules, you know, and you just do it at your own pace. And there's one on what is dementia, and, you know, goes into quite a lot of detail about it, and then what you do to prevent it. So I did both of those courses, and that, I guess, set me with a sound basic knowledge of what I needed to really start the program. Definitely don't have any kind of clinical background at all. But I don't think that's needed, because this is a social program. This is about socially engaging people who are isolated with their community. And, you know, and of course they're with their carers and support workers. There's a lot of support around you to help you do it. And if I ever have any questions, you know, Dementia Australia are a phone call away.
My question that I had was with regards to the translation of the resource that you're creating. I was wondering if there was a possibility of a project, because you're going to be creating this booklet of activities. There was a possibility of creating it into a multilingual resource kit that could then be distributed to different communities to work with it, which I think that would be an awesome outcome from this project that would probably help assist people set it up in different languages too.
Yeah. Well, I would love that idea. I kind of want to get the first English one over the line. But once that's set up, you know, I think, yeah, absolutely, there's an opportunity to do that. And I probably need then to speak to, you know, the New South Wales, you know, both the Department of Justice and Senior Services, as well as the multicultural services, because we'll, you know, everything requires funding, but I'm sure we'll be able to find it to do something like that, because I think that would be a great opportunity.
And Dulcie, you've got your hand up.
Yeah, thank you, Kay, and we could see your passion and the ideas, and the results are beautiful, you know, especially not only helping the people with dementia, also other family members. But we could see your passion through the presentation, and I love it. We do deliver well-being sessions, and we do art therapy. But we do, because we are not artists or musicians, we do speak the language of the people here, but we run out of ideas, to be honest with you, you know. And then I loved the things that you did with the winter and examples like this. And then I know you mentioned that the booklet will be at the end of the year, but I don't know if you could assist us, or if you could recommend me someone or any web page that I could check, looking for ideas. I mean, we need to think outside the square, because we are no musicians, you know, art therapists. But I love your examples, and I really would like to continue doing it here, you know, as a part of well-being. Thank you.
It's interesting, because Alice and I just usually we finish one session and then we think, oh, what are we going to do for the next session? Because we want to see what's happening in the community at the time. Some of the sessions we do organise much further in advance. So, for example, if an exhibit's coming, a few weeks ago we went to a local primary school and we ran our session in a kindergarten class and did an intergenerational activity, which was so much fun. The kindergartners did show and tell, and then we did. So it was, yeah, very, very fun. So there's lots of different ideas, and more than happy to share them. But you would be surprised. And also I think it's important to actually talk to the people who you're engaging with about the things that interest them. You know, I imagine in some cultures, you know, cooking is much more important, so central to their identity than maybe in other cultures. And so, you know, there's a huge amount of activities that you could do around the kitchen table and all sorts of things. So what I think would be fabulous is if we could set up, you know, this booklet come website, and then it is offered in different languages, and people could actually contribute, so it actually becomes a collaborative process and everyone can have their own ideas and themes in it.
Look, thanks very much. Last 1 minute question. Thanks Kay, and thanks Gaia. I think it's a really great combination of what already exists in health information from the government, but also the role of everyday things like arts, and you know how the role of everyday things and how we learn about health through those sort of means. My question is more of exploring, testing the waters. We've been working on health misinformation, particularly, as you know, with COVID. And I'm just wondering, with the changing face of the libraries, I'm wondering if there's any appetite or any interest here in this group to pitch an idea of exploring or piloting how libraries might fulfill a role in addressing misinformation or building the capacity of local communities, like in our case, Liverpool, you know, where there's, you know, and in our area, where there's a lot of migrants and refugees, combining the stuff that we're working on, but also the changing face of the library. So probably won't have time, but I think Bhuv and I are working on something that's, and I just said, is it appropriate to ask? And she just said, just yes. Okay, so I'm a question, but also a plug, and maybe people know of things that are happening, you know, because as you can see from the presentations today, you know, we're really seeing, especially a big change, at least for me, in whose perception of libraries 30 years ago was totally different to what it is now. So I just thought comments or questions, or give myself and Bhuva an email if you're interested to explore this sort of area.
I was just going to make the comment that libraries are, you know, there's still a stereotype about libraries, you know, being quiet and you walk in, and they're not like that at all. They offer a huge range of programs and services and education, multi-generational, and, you know, libraries try and be successful sometimes, not other times, to be all things to all people. But I think they're, you know, the capacity for libraries these days is too, it's all about connection. And so we try and run as many different kind of programs that we can, whether it's health education programs, misinformation training, you know, seniors, tech assistance, also, you know, from the traditional children's programs. I think you know, there's always scope to look at how libraries can connect with the communities that they're in.
Yes,
Great.
thank you, Kay. We'll reach out to people in the ALIA multicultural group, asking, you know, maybe, you know, how you'd like to communicate what you're already doing.
And also, like Multicultural Health Communication has this Multicultural Health Week, runs from 4th September till it's a week celebration, but we do work the whole year. And it's every year different theme. This year we are celebrating physical activity, promoting physical activity. So we also took the tagline of celebrate culture through movement, every move counts. And as part of this project, we do provide small grants, which is just $2,000. Libraries are welcome to apply. This year is closed, but next year you can look at the theme if that's relevant to you. Your work, that please feel free to apply. It's for community organizations and the government organizations as well. So just get in touch with me. Yeah, thank you.
Sure. Thank you so much, Gaia. I think we're out of time. So a big applause to Gaia and Kay, and thank you for your wonderful presentations, and thanks to all the participants and for all your questions.